I was about to approach.
I was about to approach.
I was approaching the boot.
I was approaching.
I got really excited because I was approaching the birds. I'm in a very short chair.
I'm in a very short chair. This is my favorite chair.
And now for the intro.
Welcome back to the Jack of the Shadows podcast, episode 29.
29.
29. I am Eric VC, and as always, I'm joined by my peanut butter and graham cracker, Dave and Adams. Say hello, Dave.
This is Dave.
Oh, stick to me. I'll be the graham cracker.
All right, that leaves me to be the peanut butter. I'm going with Chunky, by the way.
Oh, no. I changed my mind.
You can't. Too late.
I want to be chunky. This episode covers the mysterious and mystical events of chapters 13 through 18 of The Shadow Rising. As is our normal wont, this podcast will begin into full swing with our view from Dragonmount before plunging the depths of our psyches with What Shook Your Willow. We'll then try to figure out the story's developing romances in Love Connection before discussing the amazing red stone doorway in I See a Red Door.
Love Connection number 9.
We'll wrap up what is going on with the balance of our Two Rivers folk in It Takes Two before discussing our Aes Sedai and the White Tower in Aes Aes Baby. And finally, we'll wrap things up by discussing our Coplin of the week and who leveled up.
I'm excited. Are you excited?
I am always excited.
Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started.
Eric apparently is really excited.
Really excited.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's scale our favorite dormant volcano and get a view of the story in these 6 chapters.
How dormant is it really?
Stay dormant, volcano.
I don't know that it's... Yeah, well, we needed to.
Chapter 13 starts off in the Mall of Tyr, where Matt learns that the Children of the Light are in the Two Rivers. He returns to the stone to discover that Perrin is also aware of this and already packing for home. In Chapter 14, Berelain pays Perrin another of her amorous visits and tries to get Perrin to deliver a message of hers to Rand. Perrin refuses the job and Fael walks in on the two of them. Berelain leaves and Perrin tells Fael that he has plans to ask Loyal to guide him through the ways to Two Rivers. He uses Berelain's appearance to try to get Fael to leave him so that he can travel to his certain death at the hands of the Children of the Light in the Two Rivers alone. Fael leaves Perrin and confronts Berelain in the outer hallway when the altercation is broken up by the Aiel Ruark.
Yes.
Or Rourke. Chapter 16 returns to Matt, who has finally decided that he will use the redstone door Tarangriel Egwene told him about. He enters the doorway and has a strange encounter with some snake people who answer 3 questions that Matt poses, but only one is the one he originally intended to ask.
That's his own fault.
Matt is told he must go to Rydien, or he will have sidestepped.
The strain. Yes, it's too great.
He has to go to Rydien.
You got to hear the recording.
Or
of that
we'll
one.
have sidestepped his fate and be killed by those who do not wish his fate to be fulfilled. Upon being thrown out of the doorway, he sees Rand and Moiraine also exit, but these two of their own accord. We finally catch up with Loyal in Chapter 16, and Perrin asks him to guide him through the ways, only to discover that Fael has double-crossed him and has requested that Loyal take no one else through the ways until he has taken her first.
Shady McShades a lot.
Perrin is forced to agree to follow Loyal and Fael. On his way back to his room, he meets Gaul, who agrees to accompany him.
And his high kick in the air.
The scene then shifts to the accepted room in Tyr, where the 3 young women discuss Elaine's impending departure from Rand before Lan appears and has a confrontation with Nynaeve. In Chapter 17, Tom and Moiraine discuss some of the Stone's intrigue involving the High Lords and a little of each other's pasts. Moiraine asks Tom to accompany the 3 accepted to Tanchico, and Tom is left to think on it.
Tanchico!
We then head north to Tarvalon, where Min has a brief conversation about her knowledge of Elaine and Egwene's whereabouts with Gawain, or refuses to acknowledge their whereabouts to the two, because she don't know.
She don't know.
And Galad, before having a vision over the head of Mazrim Taim. She quickly runs to inform the Amerlin, who receives one of Moiraine's missives stating that Rand has claimed Kalendor during the meeting. Swan decides to immediately call a meeting of the Hall of the Tower to openly declare the need to support Rand, and the chapter concludes with... Yeah.
Well...
The chapter concludes, this doesn't sound good either. The chapter concludes with the murder of the novice who saw Min with Gawain at the hands of a mysterious Aes Sedai.
I don't think it's very mysterious at all.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah.
Perrin and Fail annoy us and Loyal on their way to the way gates in chapter 18. And the chapter concludes with Perrin and Gaul entering the gate and advancing as far as they can on their own.
Hey, at least they did that.
And that concludes the plot points for chapters 13 through 18. Now let's have some fun and discuss what shook your willow.
Yay.
Those were some good plot.
They were some.
A lot happened.
Points.
There was a lot of plotting.
There was a lot that went on.
There was a lot of chapter 17.
With a thorough discussion of chapter 17 behind us. Dave, what shook your willow?
So, my willow moment. I can't believe I said that out loud.
My willow moment.
Yeah. I really like Berelain. She has elements of our friend Celine to her, but she's a feisty one. And so...
Catfight.
Yeah, Fail comes tearing out, unlike most women who probably in that situation would be like, I'm going to leave now. No. Berelain like trails her hand across his face or her neck, whatever, and she's like, I'll see you later, Perrin, or whatever it is she says. Then she just kind of saunters on out. And Perrin's just kind of like,
Yeah, she's a trouble causer.
She's fantastic. So she leaves.
Quick choice.
Yeah, so she leaves. Well, of course, Fail, being feisty Fail, runs and follows after her and confronts her. And thinking she's going to get like the upper hand, she's all annoying Fail from what we've seen from her thus far. I really hope she redeems herself because she's...
That prancing she-goat.
Right, yeah. She's all up in her business. And then Berelain just busts out some kung fu moves and puts her in her place. And
they go at it.
I just loved it because
it was not attractive.
Because Fail has been so irritating up to this point, and it's another woman that finally slaps her down. I will school you. It was just a great moment.
I don't like either of these women. Fail has annoyed me, and Berelain is just wandering around, deliberately causing problems wherever she goes. She's been kicked out by Rand. She tries to get Perrin to deliver this message for her. He won't deliver it for her. She's deliberately trying to misrepresent what's been going on in that room.
She is singularly minded in what she wants, and she makes no business about it. She flat out says it. She makes the Ogier promise. I'm going to take your guy. She pulls no punches. She's very like Fail in that aspect. She doesn't pull any punches either, and she backs it up physically.
I'm waiting for somebody.
That's pretty
to put...
crazy though. What she says that she has her guns out for him now though, for the rest of her life.
It is. She's
is
made
going
it
to
out.
go after him. She's going to make him her plaything and then just disregard him, or keep him around and just have him be her little pet.
I want somebody to put both these women in.
Well, someone
place.
did.
Yes.
We had Berelain
Agreed.
put Fail in her place, and we had Ruark put Berelain in her place.
Yeah.
So that did happen.
So my Willow moment for the week, we learned from Moiraine that High Lord Carleon has been murdered by High Lord Tadosian in a famous royal hunting accident.
Right, yeah.
This seems to be the way for people involved in intrigue to bump men, specifically to bump one another off.
I feel like we've
Dick
heard this
Cheney.
before.
Why any of them go hunting with any? Well, Robert Baratheon died in
I
a
was going to say
hunting
it's a
accident.
Baratheon thing.
Why
too.
any men go hunting with any other men? It's
That's
beyond me.
Stolen from Jordan.
Well, it's a famous trope. It happens.
It's a dangerous game.
It happens in Shakespeare. It happens throughout medieval history.
Medieval times.
So this has been developing because back in chapter 14, Tom wrote that note in Carleon's hand to be found by Tadosian that was supposed to have been, addressed to his wife, which was, "Be wary, your husband suspects us."
It's a great note.
Yeah.
So Tom has been involved in this intrigue and doing this intrigue for Rand for a while now, and this is the first thing that we become aware of that comes to its fruition.
One of the many talents of Tom.
Right.
Calligraphy.
Yes. Not counterfeiting.
Not calligraphy.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe Tom
I'm
is
sure
an amazing
he can do that because he was writing in someone else's hand.
The
Right.
Gray Fox.
Tom the calligrapher.
Remember when Tom had a girlfriend?
That one time in band camp.
So he had a queen. I think that counts more than that one girl.
Awesome job, Tom. These were obviously high lords who weren't really in Rand's favor. Anyway, we find out that Carleon is the head. Carleon and Tadosian were some of the heads of the guys who were trying to raise a rebellion against Rand. And now one of them's gone.
Sounds a whole lot like Corleone.
And the other one might as well be because his wife's got him under lockdown.
And Moiraine suggests she's poisoning him.
Yeah.
The High Lady Ultima. What you got for us this week, Adam?
So mine is just the fact that Matt was attacked by Murdral that called him Horn Sounder.
So I wonder, how that got relayed down.
Everyone knows, yeah.
Everybody knows in the dark
especially
world.
the shadow. Ha-ha,
well, maybe not
everybody. It's rising.
Murdral are...
Well,
what is their ranking?
Low.
So who...
it's low, but it's not as low as the Gray Man.
Well, who witnessed this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Only the people of the Horn and Matt, Perrin, and Huron.
And
how do they know that he sounded
Balsamon?
I mean, I suppose he might have been there and been invisible.
Well, that's the only dark friend that I can possibly think of.
Right, yeah.
Right.
It's very scary that they know this because they weren't
That's
visibly
the only.
around.
I've racked my brain on this one, and that's the only thing I can think of is he passed that information along before he got stabbed, and for the 13th time.
Right.
Because it seems to happen in every book up to this point.
And by the way, Matt's the Hornblower.
Yeah, before I die, let me pass this along.
Yeah, that's freaky. It's freaky that they know because we know that the Amerlin feels that she's privileged to be one of the few people that knows that Matt is the Hornblower.
Yeah.
So that knowledge is power.
Indeed.
Yeah. As your mind goes bigger, your mind goes flower. It's great to learn. Because knowledge is power.
That?
It's Schoolhouse Rock, kiddos.
Yeah.
You're very smart. I'm very proud of you.
Shut up, kid. You bother me.
All right. So everybody take a seat. Let's put up the blind and make a love connection.
Oh, right after our willows were shook.
Oh, boy. Need a hot skull
All right.
bath.
Yes, I would like to. I don't like any of these lovers. They all annoy me. Maybe that's more of a comment about me. So the first paramours that we run into are Lan and Nynaeve. And I must say, this is the best one to me.
Which is not a
I
good
agree.
statement.
It ends with their kiss and
They're
it's a
smooching.
Yeah.
Smooching.
And I'm like, yeah, all right.
Mo with the gimpy
It's
leg.
not my name's Mo. I got a
Gimpy
gimpy leg. I walk real slow.
With the cane.
Cause
So
of
let's-
my gimpy
in my gimpy leg.
Gimpy leg, gimpy leg. I'm all right for this kissing scene.
Lan takes charge.
I
Lan
felt
just
like-
look here, shut up, you.
Right. I'm going to kiss you now. It's
I'm going to kiss you
Han
now.
Solo and Princess Leia.
Yeah,
Okay,
did
that-
you ask? Is this a kissing book?
Is this a kissing
Is
book?
this a kissing book? It is a kissing book, but that's the first decent kiss in the book.
It was a thorough tongue
Yay,
lashing.
Lan and Nynaeve.
He was so angry about it.
Well, he was ticked off because
I
she was
don't get it.
she was deliberately deceiving him and then trying to be like, "Well, I never
Why
said we
is
were
he into
not
her?
going to Tarval." And
I feel like I ask this once every 4 weeks.
you do ask
on
this
her?
often. You know,
Ugh. I
She's-
just have to deal with it.
it's the power. She's powerful.
If I were a friend,
She's
apparently
powerful
pretty
and
also.
petite
You
and
know.
pretty.
Yeah.
Let's move on to
have you
violent
moved beyond
parent.
lovers?
no.
No.
Oh
Let's
no! Our
not
favorite lovers, Fael
even
and Perrin.
Talk about them.
Oh, it's like we don't know. Do we have to talk about
What
them?
is her end game here? Like
Just
I'm
shake
gonna.
my head about it.
She
Okay, you get mad at
she
Berelain.
is
She's got the
a
exact same
13
end game. She has the same end game
Yeah,
as Berelain.
But I'm like Berelain, who's acting like like a 21-year-old girl. She is acting
like a 15-year-old.
13-year-old
Yeah, that's
girl.
even worse.
Like if I pull his hair long enough, maybe he'll like me.
Oh, it's horrible. No, better yet, if I'm mean, deceptive, and an all-around horrible person, it'll end up well for me, and probably with Perrin it will. Because he is a milksop.
And now poor Loyal is stuck in the middle of it.
Oh my gosh. He's
I have a
suffering
question
through all
about
this.
Loyal.
Okay. Is he a lover?
I mean, I'd be interested in him being a lover. and who he'd be with.
He'd be Barry White. He's Aerith. That's who we know. He's in love with Aerith. With her wilting ears.
I thought you said Eric, and I was like, what?
He's obviously in love with Eric.
Yes.
Where are we going?
Eric's got a beard.
He's real. Eric, we've been meaning to tell you. Loyal's real.
Just so you know.
He's gonna walk out of my book, and
Loyal's gonna come creeping around the corner.
Smooch. Poor Loyal.
In this particular case, Perrin annoys me the least because he's putting up with this garbage that she's throwing out there. Yeah, I think he holds his own. He and Gaul, they're like, whatever, we're going to do what we need to do. And she is absolutely ridiculous in this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 3 absolutelys.
That gets 3 absolutely.
That gets 3 absolutely.
Circle gets a square on that one.
Perrin isn't really doing much.
She's straight up just and Perrin's not wrong.
He calls her out on it, yeah.
Loyal.
Yeah. Oh, well, Loyal knows it too, but unfortunately...
Well, Loyal didn't know it. He got tricked
think he knew it.
because he was a nice person.
No, he didn't know it at first.
He's
aware of it now.
Yeah.
But he doesn't feel like he has a choice because he thinks his honor is at stake. Perrin is playing a little bit of the same game she is. He's also being really, really snippy and...
Oh, yeah, he was being
stubborn,
annoying to begin with.
Incredibly, unwaveringly stubborn here.
Yeah, because at first he was just sneaking around in taverns trying to catch the latest news that he could just ship her off.
Yeah, you're blaming stupid and annoying.
You're blaming it on the taverns, Adam?
No stupid taverns. With all their
Perrin is acting this way. He's been poisoned by the taverns.
If only the taverns were shut down, this town would have no trouble.
Right.
And then Matt would be really bored.
The youth out in the fountain again.
The Utes.
The youth in the fountain. The youths are in the fountain again. Whether or not we like how she's handling things, this is coming from a good place.
Is it?
I think so.
Manipulation
she
is obviously, a good place.
Well, it's coming from a good place. It's not getting there in the right way, but it's coming out of she obviously cares a lot about him. She's trying to do things in order to be around him. She's ready, it seems like, to be a partner.
I want to see you.
But he isn't. He's not. He's not cool with that. He has these. Musk. What even the two rivers women feel like is an outdated notion of nobility.
It's self-centered is what it is. It's coming from a place of self-centeredness. She wants what she wants. Tell me, how is that different? Hunter. How is that any different from Berelain?
That's why I said I dislike each of them.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
One of them just happens to not have her nose mentioned every 5 words.
Yeah. Gaul also asks Perrin if he knows what he's doing. Perrin has to admit, no.
Perrin has no clue what he's doing.
Nope. But there's no reason for Fael to know that. And then Gaul laughs.
That is a good moment.
I think that epitomizes their relationship right now. So
Gaul just straight up did some karate moves of his own.
That's what I was talking about. When he's leaping kick, I loved it. I like that moment.
His dancing kick,
and the great interaction between the different septs of Aiel. There was a cool bit. But
we got a couple of other lovers in the tower. We have Gawain and Galad, and Adam. One of the things you were saying about Galad is coming to fruition. Remember when you asked me, "Hey, doesn't Galad kind of seem like a white cloak to you?"
Right, we got in that whole debate earlier.
That was a long time ago.
That was books ago.
It was a book ago.
Long ago.
Kudos to you for
not so far away.
seeing this coming.
Dulcet tones right there, Adam.
I mean, that is what we think is going on with this guy, right?
Yeah,
the goody two shoes.
Well, he's in the bars sharing, a quick drink with them just to do it,
right?
And he's reading the novel.
Blame the taverns again,
which is the novel, right? Those stupid taverns. The novel's inscribed to him by the head of the Children of the Light. These are not a good sign.
It's not the head of the children. It's not Pedro and Niall. The inscription is from the guy who is leading the Children of the Light on the other side of Tar Valon, who they are worried is going to attack Tar Valon. Eamon
Valda, who's the second in command.
Those are our love stories. Let's do a little I see a red door and
a twisted
there
red
are
door.
snake people behind it.
It's fantastic how it's just Matt being Matt. I mean, he gets ahead of himself. Once again, he's got this set plan, and his own curiosity just gets the better of him and screws him in the end for the questions he's got set in mind. But as is always the case with Matt, his luck comes through in the end and saves him because he gets more than he thought he would get out of it.
Yeah, what do you think his other two questions were going to be?
Probably how can I make $1 million? And
I think he already has that.
I don't think he's worried about getting richer.
Well, his hole is in his memory.
Yes, that's definitely going to be one of the other questions is what are these gaps in my memory and what have I forgotten?
I mean, I was joking about the $1 million, but the gaps in the memory, absolutely.
If I had $1 million.
Oh, shut up.
I knew that would get that reaction.
Shut up.
My Carpenter's reference and whatever else I was singing was much better than whatever that was.
I would buy you a house,
just hell on earth,
but not a real fur coat that's cruel.
Just dreck.
Listening to that song is
as to the third question.
Yeah.
The third question could, I mean, there's a lot of avenues you could go down. How can I get away from the Aes Sedai? How can I stop Rand from going crazy? And
is Moiraine madly in love with me?
Right. No.
I feel like Matt gets to this decision to do this really, really quickly. I mean, it feels like it was just
several decisions to go in the doorway.
Yes. It feels like it was just 100 words ago that he was like, Elaine, no, I'm not going in there. That's crazy
but
talk.
Did you ever believe that he meant that? I never for one instant. Oh, my
Matt hates Aes Sedai and the power and everything to do with it.
Matt hates Aes Sedai. He hates the power. Yes. This doorway has nothing to do with either of those.
It's a ter'angreal. I mean, he tells her that I don't want to have anything to do with the power, which you agree he doesn't. And but he knows it's a ter'angreal, and he knows.
Shove.
And as far as he knows, I don't think he lied to Egwene.
We saw it building up. He was thinking about it in these chapters.
A little bit.
Thinking about it.
We get little vignettes of him thinking about it. I just felt like we got there with him really, really fast. That being said,
I agree with you.
What did you guys think about the structure?
So cool.
It's mind bending.
Yep. A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's vision bending.
It's reality bending. 1 minute you're looking out the window on your right side and you're seeing something.
Right.
The next minute you've gone the past couple quarters, you're looking out something on your left side and you're seeing the same darn thing again.
Yeah.
That's disconcerting.
Right off the bat, even just the door itself, there are those 3 sinuous lines that are carved on the stone. What the heck are those? But when he first walks through it, he hears that roaring that seems like it's all the languages in the world at one time.
I equated that sound that he heard to the sound that they hear when they go through the way gates, which is a really loud sound.
It's a good comparison.
Maybe, yeah, because you're going through
You're going to another dimension. This is clearly a different dimension.
Everything is described in here as being on a curve.
Twisted.
And the snake people are all in yellow and like
red,
whatever they're wearing.
So the guide wears yellow. That's the only guides. So the guide that brings him in and the people that throw him out are wearing yellow. The question answerers are wearing red.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's some significance to that color coding that we don't know yet.
Yeah. And then what is mentioned is that from somewhere he had a dim memory of walking halls that he had not known a human foot for hundreds of years. And so then he meets a guy and he says, it's been a long time, a very long time, yet they come again. How long has it been?
Well, apparently not very long. Because
also, what is time?
Because time refers to Rand and Moiraine.
Yeah, so but they have come I think that's a different plane.
So this is an interesting. This is where things kind of really get interesting here because they're all in there at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Well, no.
So are they all talking to this?
There is no. They are all in there at the same time.
No, I think time functions differently in there, and I think that was represented by all the circle talk.
Okay, so that's one. So that's one argument. Without getting into your argument about time, Adam, they're all in the doorway at the same time. Whether what the time is in the doorway is something different. So then that's the question, because the way that I think of it is that they're talking to 3 different groups of questioners in 3 different rooms, and that there isn't just one like body of these people who are answering these questions.
Maybe there is. I don't know.
You think that there is one body and that Rand and Moiraine and Matt were all in there, but they were in there in different instances of time?
I think that might be a possibility.
You could totally be right that they're in there, that all three people are in there visiting the same three individuals, and that the doorway has split up time into different segments.
But Moraine makes that specific comment about the resonance going on and how it affects things.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, I think that would echo regardless.
Which leads me to believe what you and I were thinking, that maybe there are 3 different rooms, but I don't know.
No, because those 3 different instances of time could be different instances, but they could all be occurring simultaneously.
Yeah.
So you're 3 separate time streams.
Right. That's really interesting to see, which of these realities ends up being what's going on in here.
Bottom line is he gets thrown out. They leave. Rand backs out, like keeping them away. And we don't know how Moraine gets out. She just gets out.
Well, she walks out.
She
does not get thrown out.
Right. And Rand's like holding people off at bay.
She walked out looking pretty good.
Yeah. Well, she holds her composure like she normally does.
But we find out Matt can understand what they're saying inside of there.
Right.
That's fantastic. I love that. It's another instance of Matt talking in the old tongue, and he's got no clue what he's doing.
Yeah, because Rand is like, hey, they had to bring a funny old man up here to interpret everything for me. Did they have to do that with you, Matt? And Matt's like, what?
Oh, crap.
Yes.
They did.
They did bring him up. His name was Ryan. He spoke the old language.
Speaking Pig Latin.
I constantly found myself saying, Ryan, what do you think, Ryan?
Yeah.
So some of those things that Matt hears in the old tongue, first of all, they tell him, you have to, you need to go to Roidian.
Yeah, this place just keeps popping up.
It does.
It's a place of importance.
Yes, it is. We have no idea what it is, other than that it's in the waste.
We're about to go there.
And the Aiel go there to become clan chiefs.
I would melt because I don't do well in heat.
So he has to go there, and he's like, why? And they say, well, if you don't go there, you'll have sidestepped the threat of fate. You'll have left your fate to drift on the winds of time. I didn't even know people could disobey fate.
That's different than the Winds of Change by the Scorpions.
Right. It is very different. This is actually enjoyable.
Oh, no.
Well, no, it's not.
I love that song.
And you will be killed by those who do not want that fate fulfilled.
Yeah, that's a weird line.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it seems like he has a choice here somehow, and then if he makes the wrong choice, all of a sudden,
so how much of
his
a choice
destiny
do you have?
Doesn't get right.
Death or life?
I don't,
Go to Roidian.
So then he's like, hey, I want to know more. I want to know more.
They tell him, the strain, the savor of him.
It's too great. The strain.
These are also aspects of his fate: to marry the daughter of the 9 moons, to die and live again and live once more,
to give
a part of what was, to give up half the light of the world to save the world.
These are fascinating statements.
Go to Radiant, son of battles. Go to Radiant, trickster. Go, gambler, go.
I love those titles. Those titles are fantastic.
Did you love my voice? My imaginary snakes their voice.
I do like it. That's pretty good. You sound a little bit like he who must not be named.
Right. I was just gonna say I was a little bit like that.
I love those titles. That's just like bone chilling. It's great stuff.
So these are things we gotta keep our eye out for. The daughter of 9 moons
doesn't sound. I love that, and he's all hung up on that. I wouldn't marry royalty. Blah blah blah. I don't want to be a noble.
Daughter of 9 moons before?
I feel like we have, but I don't know where.
We don't know the daughter of 9 moons. We know the court of 9 moons.
Court of 9 moons.
Oh, that is it. Yeah, this is Sean.
Okay, well, that's Sean Chan. That's not good. That is all sorts of
freaking crazy.
Don't touch it with
he
a 10-foot
would get involved with that.
Right, seriously. Of course you're right. He would.
We knew that name for some reason. Yeah, it's that is the court in Sean Chan.
Ugh,
oh boy.
No.
Good luck, Matrim.
Come on.
Well, I mean,
those goop gallops.
He's got that.
I don't want him to have that.
So,
he was really good. He's gone to being a slightly annoying again, and now if he's involved with that Drek, he's going to be horrible.
I would like to get my cookie for saying that.
Yeah, kudos to you.
What type of cookie would you like?
That out.
Would you like a Maurice Linnell?
No, you get oatmeal. You get oatmeal
cookies.
raisin.
Are you going to go with an Otis Spunkmeyer?
Oh no! Die and live again and live once more. A part of what was. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, can you
That
give
sounds
up
like what
half the
Rand
light
is.
of the world to save the light of the world? What?
It just sounds like Rand. I don't get it.
Well, we know Matt's important.
It definitely does kind of sound like.
But the titles all make sense. Gambler,
Son of
trickster,
Battles.
son of battles.
What if it's Matt that's the actual real dragon?
Well, we know that's not the case, so easy on that, Spartacus.
Who knows?
We do.
Yeah,
What prophecies has Matt fulfilled?
At this point, we do know, or at least Swan and Moiraine think they know.
What are prophecies other than
Right?
What did Swan say? Yeah.
Except for the guy that holds Kalendor, kind of important.
So the snake people couldn't look at Rand's sword. That's
or iron or musical.
they didn't want any.
Yeah,
they didn't want any
iron or
iron or any
fire.
musical instruments in there. They also looked up and away before they would read the prophecy to these boys. No, not up and away, just up and away.
Oh well.
So there are some interesting cats.
There's a lot of fascinating stuff in there.
It's a really cool. It's a cool moment.
I like how when you look at the doorway, you can't like figure out where it starts and where it ends. It's a natural thing. Again.
It's like Egwene's dreaming ring. It seems to have one edge.
Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna ever get to those 3 spires, or is this just done with?
Oh, inside there?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't know if I want to be there.
They can't. They can't go in there. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're done.
They can't go back in there. Remember, Matt tried, and he just ran through.
That was cool.
Whoosh!
Yeah.
So they get out, and they're talking to Moiraine after she's come out. She accuses Matt and Rand of not knowing what they're doing. Rand has been studying this. He's had that book about Tanchico, and she's like, for weeks.
I read books.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But he's been studying and reading and preparing for this. I mean, we didn't know that that's what he was doing, but that is what he was doing. So he's prepared. He knows. He's been reading stuff. I mean, all her learning is through books also when it comes to this. So
well, she doesn't know that.
I call hypocrisy on that statement.
Oh,
you leave my girl alone.
Has been called.
Yes. I've laid down the
There are
hypocrisy
accusations.
gauntlet.
Eric doesn't like Moiraine.
I don't think
That
he
is
does.
not true.
It's true.
Moiraine also thinks two Ta'veren threatened to tear the connection of the door. So
At the same time, yeah.
there was that gonging going on in there while Matt and Rand were in there,
For whom the bell tolled.
and she thinks that they were the cause of it.
What's interesting is Rand says they were not liars, I think. They were afraid of me right from the first.
And then they're trying to figure out like how these people know what they know, and it's really interesting. She mentions like a folding in time space, as if they are that. You know, we constantly see people being able to travel through time, and the reference point for that usually is making time a single 2-dimensional plane, and then you fold it in half and put the pin through it. She suggests that they do something like that so that they can see through all of time,
and then you
all
end up
at
with
one moment.
You know who they sound like? The Xenobites.
Oh, yes, from Hellraiser.
But she says they get sensations, emotions, experiences out of it.
Okay.
That's what they're feeding off of.
Yes,
It's only a slight
that's true.
deep dive because we've gone from fantasy to horror, but
That's somebody's
It's a great book.
horrifying fantasy.
I can't.
And then the last thing
Really good
here
book.
is Moiraine wants Rand to tell him what he saw, what he learned in there, and Rand's like, "Sure, I'll do that. You tell me what you learned."
And she's like, no.
So yes for Rand.
I think they're in love.
She's not going to marry Matt.
Well, I'll
She's
get to
going
that
to marry
right
Rand.
now. Moiraine mentions a few chapters ago, knowing the face of the man she'll see marry.
Yep.
All of a sudden, Tom Maryland's like, she's a pretty woman.
He is.
Oh, Tom has always been like that.
All of a sudden, he comments on Moiraine, who he's never, ever, ever had any instance before of having any interest in.
No, I would agree with that. Yeah, no, he's never had any
I
interest
thought
in
that he made a comment
Moiraine.
about that she was a handsome woman before.
Sure, yes. Yes. Yeah.
But this is
Okay,
this
that's
instance is different because he's so reticent about Aes Sedai, and I do like the fact that she offered him up. If you go after Elaine and protect Elaine, I'm going to give you the Aes Sedai who killed your nephew.
So let's flesh that out with a little bit of Aes Aes Baby. So we have two Aes Sedai here. We have Swan and we have Moiraine. We get into Moiraine's story first here. So she sits down with Tom, and we learn a lot about Tom here. We learn his nickname.
The Gray Fox.
She suggests that he's involved in the murder plot of Tarangale.
And then all of a sudden, Tom's dating her. Weird.
Right.
Odd. We already know he bumped another ruler off.
He notes her last name, which we've noted a couple of different times. She has this last name, which crops up in a lot of places.
I'm surprised that's never come up before this.
She obviously...
I mean, but to like a greater degree.
She admits, look, I'm not a fan of my house. I'm not a fan of my family. They've done a lot of terrible things. She's the half-sister of Tarangale, and she's Lamon's niece. So she has a lot of horrible connections.
She admits everything, and Tom deflects.
Yeah, I think she admits what she needs to in order to get him off of her case, in order to make him realize that he can't use that as a way to manipulate her.
But he doesn't acknowledge anything.
No, right, because his way to avoid manipulation is to just not acknowledge that stuff. But we know we're gonna hold those things for true
because she's got the goods.
So she asks Tom to go to Tanchico. He doesn't want to. She assures him that he'll be safe. Doesn't it seem strange that that's one of the questions that she would have asked in that doorway? She has so many big questions to be answered.
There obviously has to be more there than we realize.
Yeah.
Because the answer is not going to be, is Tom Maryland going to be safe if he goes to Tanchico?
Agreed.
That can't be it.
I would agree.
Why would you ask that question?
That's my question. Why would you ask that question?
There's got to be something else we don't know.
And then she promises to reveal the names of the Reds who gentled Owen, along with their leader.
Thing.
It's a big thing, because Tower Protocol has been broken. They were supposed to take Owen back to the tower.
Right.
And he was and
it's
gentle
the Reds.
him there.
You can't trust them.
Even Elida, I would expect we would get some kind of... No. She seems to be a rule follower to me.
Really? And you think she didn't just kill that accepted? Come now.
Really? No, I don't think she just killed that accepted.
Oh, I think you're dead wrong, and I think Adam agrees with me.
I think it's what's the name of the white that Elida
Alviarin?
Yeah,
no, I think this is Elida's bag. She's the one leading this charge.
Okay. Hopefully we find out who it is. Then if Elida did it, Elida's a Black Aja. So let's move on to Swan. She learns a couple of interesting things. Apparently the Blight has retreated a couple of miles.
You would think it'd be advancing.
Rand?
Yeah, that's an interesting
retreating
fact.
And storing up their power to advance again later. Who knows?
Min tells her about the glory that Logain is going to achieve. And then we learn that Mazrim Taim has escaped. That is one of the things that Amico was telling to Egwene and Elaine. That was one of the plots that she said, is that they were going to free Mazrim Taim and set him up as Rand al'Thor and unleash him on the world, and he was going to do all these terrible things so that the world would turn on Rand. So they're heading off toward Tanchico, thinking that this artifact in Tanchico is the right thing. And if this is a zero-sum game, they're headed in the wrong direction.
That's not good.
That does not bode well for our accepted.
They seem to always be going to the wrong area.
No, I don't agree with that. I think they always seem to be going to the right area.
Oh yeah, but it didn't work out very well for them.
I think they're going to go to the right place. Matt. I think disaster is going to fall for them because that's what happens every time they go somewhere.
During this whole conversation, it just seems like Swan is fixated on this Black Aja thing to the detriment of everything else. Does anybody else think that this singular fixation is dangerous? Because I do.
It's very, because of the way that it seems like she's going to solve it is by showing her hand too early.
She seems to poo-poo other things that seem to be equally as important.
I think that this focus on the Black Aja is going to bite her in the butt at some point, because she is letting a lot go by the wayside while using this silver pike in her nets as the excuse for that to happen.
Look at you pulling out a Swan reference there with the silver pike in her nets.
I mean, yeah, I think that's what she said before.
She said it a couple times.
Yep. She has that Nightwood box that's filled with communications.
She's trusted a lot on Moraine's judgment, and Moiraine has been pretty good picking those three girls.
She has trust. She is expecting Moiraine to do some stuff. I don't know how much, and she does trust her. But even she indicates that Moiraine has already gone her own way.
She's a loose limb.
can't rely on her as being a sole source of information because
like
it's
said,
been
she's
a
got that
long
box
time.
full of information.
She's taking a lot of meetings with Min.
I love those Min, Gawain, and Galad interactions where Min's all like, but I don't know.
That is
because I can't decide between the two men. And Gawain's like, why don't you shut up? I know who you are.
I love this girl.
She's fantastic. Yeah.
She's using her Elmendreda powers pretty well. And
Galad is going right along with it.
Because Gawain has no business bringing that stuff up in front of his brother. He should know better.
Well, she calls him out on that he should not mention Egwene and Elaine.
She foils him very well.
But he's specifically coming up to this girl who's supposed to be a stranger to him and saying, can you knock some sense in my brother's head? And she's supposed to be this complete doofus.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know about any dances. Are you going to take me to a dance?
Right. He expects her to get into a philosophical argument with Galad.
A ditz.
Please, what does Immanuel Kant have to say about this manifesto? Could you enlighten my brother?
Seriously.
Right.
All right. So, Dave, who was your Coplin of the week?
With no hesitation, I'm going straight to Fael.
Okay.
She is,
wow, that was very descriptive.
She just, that sums it all up in one word. You don't even need to be descriptive. She deceives Loyal to get at Perrin. Loyal, the most generous.
Loyal?
Of all the people you're going to try to take advantage of, you take advantage of the one person who's the most kind-hearted, generous.
Those are the easiest people to take advantage of.
And that exactly speaks to horrible character. Horrible character.
It's like they say, candy from an osier.
Right. Ogier. We're saying Ogier now.
And then she tries to justify it all to Perrin. Well, if you hadn't acted like this, I wouldn't take advantage of this person that's been super nice to me and saved my life when I was, stuck with an opossum in Dream World.
Well, if you hadn't acted like a bad person, I wouldn't have had to have acted like a terrible person.
It's horrible, and I really don't like her.
I understand that.
Well, then you'll be on board with her being my Coplin of the week
I
as
most definitely am.
Ooh.
Yeah. She's
what
absolutely.
Do you have to say, Eric?
She is my Coplin of the week as well.
She's got a lot of splaining to do.
I mean, her interactions with Perrin and are just the worst. It's the least enjoyable part of the book to me. I'm so over it, and I fear that there is so much more to come. Are you going to take us in a different direction, Adam?
Mine is Berelain.
Oh, come on.
Yes!
The only reason I'm going over Fael is because I feel like I don't think she's out for bad intentions. And then Berelain just basically laid down the law and said, no, this is my victim that I'm claiming just in order to torture you.
I don't think she was going that way initially until Fael came out and raised the stink.
Sure, fine. Then she just automatically goes toward that.
Right.
She did.
Powerful move.
We just said one bad move does not justify another.
Yeah, and it doesn't. She is used to doing whatever she has to do to save her tiny little nation. And she's done whatever she has to do. Sure. Now, this thing with Perrin, I don't think that has anything to do with that. That's just sheer competition.
She's up to no good, and I have no idea how this is going to play out. But my
got put in her place.
Goodness.
So the other side of our cat fight was your Coplin of the week.
It's interesting that those two are. That makes sense.
It makes sense.
Makes sense.
So
cat fight.
Who leveled up? Who leveled up for you, Dave?
Who leveled up for me is Loyal.
It's all about Fael.
Well, he has to put up with a lot. He's got to put up with Fael and Perrin. He's stuck between these two. He's in a rock and a hard place, and he kind of holds his own, and he's got to deal with just the constant arguments between those two. And now you throw in, he's got to deal with the different septs of the Aiel, teasing and cajoling each other.
Two of them. Mm-hmm.
He's stuck in the middle of a whole lot of garbage. And kudos to that guy for it.
And doing something he doesn't want to do, which is going through the ways.
Does not want to go through the ways at all. I'm sure Elder Haman's going to be mad at him for this. And his mom and Aerith, they're all not pleased with them.
Right. So my person that leveled up this week is Matt. Making the decision to go through the red door, going through, surviving it in his own bungling way.
It's very bungling way.
Getting some crazy answers to his questions, only asking the one question he wanted to and then easily getting sidetracked.
Right. That's great.
Those are all the characteristics of somebody who leveled up.
Screws his questioning. But he ends up with far more than he bargained that he was.
Even though when he first gets in, he's very aware of not asking any questions. He's really aware until they give him one answer, and then he's off the rails.
But it's Matt 101. So you bargain for something, you get way more than you ever thought you were going to get, because that's how his luck works.
Yes, schmuck. All right, Adam, who you got?
So, Fail just became so annoying that I think it's a superpower. I think she actually leveled up.
Oh my gosh.
I think there is a level.
I agree.
I think I want to reach to the phone and slap you for this.
Just crap I don't want to read about. That is so powerful that it is its own thing. It's like
it's become a sentient being.
She's a Taviran in the worst sense. Oh,
horrible.
It's like a tea that you're going to drink and it just has like aluminum foil in it.
You are such a stinky cheese. It's a superpower.
It's awful.
Oh my word.
I like your take though. I think she has reached that level of so bad it's an atom bomb.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like that old pillowcase I used to have that I would smell over and over again. It smelled so bad it was good.
Or in my case, the Snoopy blanket.
Yeah.
All right. So that puts episode 29 in the books. Join us for episode 30 when we cover chapters 19 through 24 of The Shadow Rising. And as always, may you rest in the Creator's hand.
Bye.
Bye.